It's a lot of fun coming out and feeding the chickens in the morning. Good morning and welcome to the Return Homestead. My name is Mike and my wife Marty and I homestead 50 acres in southeastern Kentucky. Today we're doing a little bit of work on the remodel. We've got to do some grouting in the shower, but first we want to make sure we're taking care of the chickens. As you can see, we've got a rather sizable flock out here. We're getting between 16 and 22 eggs a day. That's way too many eggs for us. You may notice we've got too many chickens. We kind of did that on purpose. These chickens are spread out over a 3-year time frame. So these are 3 different broods of chickens, and that gives us a nice stable age base within our flock. We do need to cull some roosters from the most recent group of chickens that have been added. But first I need to kind of meld this flock together in order to create another interesting flock for my wife. When Marty and I moved here 2 years ago in October, there was a small chicken coop sitting up here at the top of the hill, and we had, 12 chickens running loose? Sounds about right?
Yeah.
Most of them being roosters. I think we had 8 roosters out of those 12 chickens, so we had to do something other than what was here for those chickens. So the very first project I took on was building this chicken coop, and it may not look like much, but then chicken coops aren't. Chicken coops only need to hold the chickens. They really handle themselves in the weather. You don't have to worry about them too much. We just want to give them a place that is dry, extremely dry. We want to make sure it stays dry inside because they poop a lot inside of the coop, and that needs to dry out. Otherwise it's going to get real stinky. So we keep it dry inside through ventilation, but essentially it's just a big box, and that's all the chickens really need. This coop cost about $700 in materials 2 years ago. And then the next year we needed to add another coop because we wanted to add a lot more chickens. Way too many chickens than we could stuff into a single coop. So we built an identical coop off of this one, creating twice the space. And we added more chickens to fill up the space. In order to be able to have older chickens and newer chickens, the younger chickens needing a little time to grow before we introduce them to the main flock, we put up a dividing wall underneath the 2 coops so that I can keep chickens isolated in the top end of the coop and run section, and then I can have another group of chickens, the main flock, in this coop and run section that has access to the chicken yard. And that allows me to bring in new chickens, allow them to grow in a comfortable environment, and then introduce them to the rest of the flock and allow them access to the chicken yard. And we've had a good run going here where we've had some new chickens that we hatched out this year, and we've had them isolated over in this coop, and about a week ago we opened up the wall and kind of blended the flocks together. They've been occupying both of these coops, and it's time for them to get shifted down into a single coop so that we can bring out another flock of chickens. And out here in the brooder in the barn, we have the stars of today's show. These are some silkie chickens. Those are those really decorative chickens that have the poofy head knots and lots of fuzzy feet. They are smaller than the other chickens. They do lay eggs, so we'll get eggs off of these guys, but they're really, they're more pets. My wife is partial to these chickens. She wanted to have a small flock of them, and so we went to a neighboring homestead and we traded some eggs. That homestead wanted some Australorp chickens. We had some eggs that were fertile, and so we traded fertile eggs, and then we hatched out the Silkies and she hatched out the Australorps. Everybody grew their flock and increased their biodiversity within their chickens. And now we've got to make room for these Silkies. We're going to put them up in that very first coop that we built. We'll let these guys finish growing out up there. That'll give us time to finish our remodel on the 2001 Fleetwood. Once that's finished, we'll move into that house and we'll build these guys a new coop down there near that house. so that they really become a part of Marty's herb garden and a part of the backyard scene of what's going on right around the house. So before the rain gets here, we want to grab a cage real quick and get these silkies moved out to that coop. Yeah, good. These guys are a lot more skittish than our other chickens, so I'm going to go ahead and take this small batch up. We're going to get them into the coop and then we'll come back for the rest. It's been open to the main flock, and I'm just noticing some of our astrolorps have been using the back corner of it to lay eggs in, so we're going to have to collect those eggs here in a minute. These guys are pretty stubborn, don't like new things, so they're really nervous about climbing out of the cage and into the new coop. He doesn't want me picking him up, but he also doesn't want to get off. Might go close their door. And these silky chickens will have some help getting assimilated because Mama, our best brooder, has taken up position as far away from me as she possibly can. So she's sitting on an egg back there in that back corner, and she is determined to stay on that egg. We're just going to let her go, let her do her thing. She is a very angry chicken who loves to peck at you if you try to take that egg from her. It's nice to see the silkies are jumping right up on the roosting bars. Something we had a hard time with the last group of chickens. They didn't seem to understand what the roosting bars were for. Let's go get the rest of these guys. Orange out the way.
Mom's clicking at them.
They're over there talking to Mama. That's nice. Yeah, should get them dialed in.
Is that it?
That's all of them.
How many are there?
You know, I haven't counted them yet.
No.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 silkies. You may be wondering why we would want to have chickens for pets. And while it is true that we're keeping these chickens primarily because, well, they're just fun to look at and fun to watch, they also do serve a purpose. So they will be down at our 2001 Fleetwood once we get moved down there. And we'll be moving most of our main gardens down there. So the herb gardens and all of our vegetable growing will happen down there. And these chickens will provide the fertilizer and some of the cleaning services that we need. So at the end of the year, if we need to clean out a bed, we'll just put a few chickens in there and let them tear the bed up, as well as putting their poop on it to fertilize it. So they're going to be gardeners along with us. Right now, while they get acclimated, I need to get these eggs out of this back corner.
Plus,
See if I can do it without spooking them.
Plus, they're stinking cute.
They are just cute, aren't they?
Yes.
Come on, guys.
And these chickens are so gentle.
You know that's going to be easier if I just get in there.
It is. Take the basket with you. Where is it?
Inside already.
Oh, okay.
Now y'all notice I was able to climb up inside of the chicken coop and I can almost stand up in the peak of the coop. That is one of the design considerations. We watched a lot of different homesteaders and how they were handling chickens before we built our first coop. And one of the things we noticed is that chicken spaces are always built economically. And typically that means taking a nice tall building and squishing it down to chicken size. The only problem with doing that is it's no longer human scale. You cannot crawl up in there to fix things. So I intentionally left my coops tall so that I could, at 6 foot tall, still be able to climb up in this thing. It's worked out really nice. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hassle to lift myself in there, but being able to get in to take care of things is really important. Give them some feed. We got water and some food here for the chicks. I always want to remember, especially with new chicks, to make sure you're putting some grit in with their feed. So I am giving them, I've been feeding them the medicated chick feeder. It's just a crumble. This is actually grain, so we're adding some grit to their meal, just small rocks that allows them to grind that up in their crop. So be sure you add that grit. Chickens will iron out what they need there. Now I'm watching Mama now. She's decided to come off the nest to get something to eat, and she's kind of chattering with the Silkies. So she's talking to them like she would her own chicks. I think she's going to adapt to them very nicely. We're going to leave these guys an opportunity to get acquainted. Marty and I are going to get busy on the remodel. We've got to get the grout in between the tiles, get that shower all finished up, so we're going to get busy on that for the rest of the afternoon. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please take a moment to do so you can stay up to date on what's going on with the Silkies. While you have that window open, if you wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up button. That's going to make sure the algorithm knows you enjoyed the video and they'll share it out with more people. We'll see you next time.